In this video, I'll show you the best outreach method to land high-value agency clients right now. I've used this exact method to land hundreds of agency clients and grow multiple agencies to 7 figures plus. I've also tried and failed with countless other outreach methods. So let me save you years of pain and failure and frustration by just showing you the best one that's working right now. So here's what we're going to cover in this video. How to land 5 to 10 agency clients this month by using the outreach method that's working best right now. How to customize this outreach method for your unique niche and agency, allowing you to book more sales calls, land more high-ticket agency clients, and rocket your agency way ahead of the competition, and how to scale this method to 100K per month fast, so you can do less work but make way more money. So if you want to land more clients for your agency, then this is the perfect video for you. So let's get started. All right, so there's 4 parts to this outreach method that make it just so incredibly deadly effective when it comes to landing more high-ticket, high-value agency clients, essentially signing them up, making the entire process faster, easier, and more effective than ever before. And step number 1 really comes down to identifying, locating, and finding that ideal dream client, ideal prospect for your agency, the kind of person that you most want to serve, that you're going to be able to get the best results for, that's going to love you, love what you do, and want to tell everyone they know about just how great you are. Now, when it comes to identifying and finding your ideal dream target client, they're everywhere, like literally everywhere. There are thousands, tens of thousands, potentially even hundreds of thousands of them. So the first thing we have to do is we've got to get clear, and we need to start to build up a lead list in order to do prospecting, in order to actually have people to contact, to show them our services, to provide some value, to start bringing them into our agencies. Now, there's going to be a few things that I'm going to assume that you already have dialed in here. Obviously, number 1 is you're going to have selected a niche. You cannot do everything for all of the people. So you've got to be focused on a single niche, a single target customer, ideal avatar that you're going to be able to go after. Otherwise, you're going to be dealing with millions and millions of people, which is overwhelming and basically impossible. So we need to pick that niche. Then we need to make sure that we've got at least a basic idea of the services and the structure of the packages that we're going to be putting out there for them. Now, this can evolve over time. It will evolve over time as you're launching more services, you're serving more clients, you're going to find out what you're doing that works best and what doesn't work as well. So you can do more of what works best, less of what doesn't work as well. But regardless, we need a lead list. Now, when it comes to building up a lead list, there's an essential endless amount of tools that we can use. But by far, my favorite one right now is the high-level prospecting tool inside of an agency account. If you're not familiar with High Level, it's kind of the de facto agency software right now. It's what we've used for years. It's what most other 6, 7-figure agencies are using. I'll put a link to it down in the descriptions below if you want to take a look at it and get an extended free trial for it. But regardless, let me hop into High Level. I'm going to show you exactly what this looks like and how to use this for your business. All right, so here we are inside of the High Level prospecting tool. You can see that we've got the account branded here. We're inside the agency level, which means that we've clicked on prospecting. Now, all we really need to do, and this is where things just get incredibly simple, is just type in the name of the niche or the industry that we're after, as well as a location. Again, just like we want to narrow down the niche, we also want to narrow down the location, because otherwise it's just going to bring them up all across either the US or the world or wherever it is. And we're going to end up with millions and millions of people, which is too much to do. So let's put in here and we'll go, let's say pool companies in San Diego. And we'll hit enter, and you can see just like that, we've already got a list of different pool companies in San Diego that we can start to reach out to. We can click on literally any of them. Let's pick that first one there. You can see that we've got their phone number, we've got their website. We can now reach out and start essentially making contact with them and building up our lead list. We can contact them either directly inside of High Level just by clicking on the phone and making a call. We can send them an email. We can do anything that we need to do. We can also save the prospect, and then the High Level prospecting tool is going to start to generate a marketing audit report, as you can see here. And that is where things are really going to start to shine, because this is what's going to essentially turn the tables and reframe your outreach and your pitching and your attempt at acquiring clients. And it's going to change the dynamic from you being a salesperson or just doing cold outreach, trying to get someone to do business with you, to becoming a deliverer of value, to becoming someone that leads first by showing what you can do for them rather than just what you're asking them to do for you, which is what most cold outreach attempts are. Most cold call scripts you'll see are basically, hey, sorry, this is a cold call. Can you mind if I pitch you on my service? I mean, obviously that doesn't work as well as something like, hey, I've got this thing. I've made it for you. It's full of value. It's going to help you. If you do these things, you will make a lot more money. By the way, if you'd like to have a conversation about what this looks like, just send me a note. Literally night and day difference. And this is the reason that this has quickly become the most effective strategy that we are using in all of our agencies, with all of our clients, with all of our students. And it's generating millions and millions of dollars, not to mention making the process a whole lot more fun and enjoyable than just making endless cold calls all day, which still effective, but definitely not as much fun. So let's hop back out of the high-level report for a second. We're going to come back in a bit because there's some other tools that I want to show you as well. All right, so the other way that you're going to be able to build a lead list is to use some kind of automation tool, lead scraping tool like D7 Lead Finder, which I've opened up right now, like Apollo, like Instantly now, which is a cold email software that has lead generation capabilities. I mean, literally even going to LinkedIn and typing in your industry or using one of the more advanced paid tools like Sales Navigator, being able to put in the details and the industry and the targeting and the size of the business, getting everyone's contact details. Again, I want you to really understand and really embrace the fact that your ideal clients are everywhere and there are thousands and thousands of them. This should not be an obstacle to you growing your agency and making as much money as you ever wanted. They are literally everywhere. So again, let's do this here. We'll do pool companies again. We'll say pool builder. We'll choose a city. How about we type in, let's type in Los Angeles. Los Angeles, Texas. Who knew? Fun fact. We'll type Los Angeles, California, the main one, the main Los Angeles. We'll hit get leads and we're going to let it go to work. Now, I've logged into one of my accounts here that is I think this is the basic tier, lowest price one that you can get. They also have a free one that's just going to give you less information. But what I want to show you is that even with the basic bare bones level tier, you're still going to end up with all of the information that you need in order to run through the strategy that I'm going to be walking you through here inside this video. So with that said, let's give that a second and we're going to hop back into our whiteboard of truth and justice. All right, so GHL prospecting, go high level, also known as high level. We have D7 Lead Finder, but we also have other things like Apollo and Instantly and all of the other tools that I mentioned there before. And if we keep on going down, we can also do things like LinkedIn, just literally looking through. We can do scraping through other tools. Basically, if you go to Google and you type in lead scraper, you'll find tools there and software and automations. You can go to Upwork, you can go to Fiverr, you can find people, we'll say freelancers, that will go scrape leads for you. But ultimately, what we're trying to do is end up with a good 50 to 100 different leads that we can contact per day. Full stop. We need that amount. One of the biggest problems that people have when they're trying to grow their agencies doing any other kind of outreach is that they're just not doing a sufficient amount of volume. So what we need to do is we need to think about a bit of a curve here. And this is going to be kind of like minimum effective dose, which means this is the amount, the least amount that you need to do to get any kind of positive response to it. We're going to say that this is probably 50 to 100 per day. That's the doses that you need if you want to get to 10K a month, 20K a month, 50K a month, 100K a month, 500K a month, whatever it is. We need to be putting in this minimum effective dose every day of doing outreach and doing the strategy that we're walking through here. Most people are down here doing 3 to 5 per day. And then they're wondering why they're simply not getting the results. Well, I mean, if we do the math, if we do 5 a day, 5 days a week, that's 25 at the end of the week, right? Whereas if we do 100 a day times 5, we've got 500. I mean, you don't have to do the math too hard here, but like, which one do you think is going to dominate? The person that's doing 25 a week or the person that's doing 500 a week? And can you imagine that the 500 a week, their revenue is going to be 10 times, 20 times, 100 times higher than the person that's just sort of putting in the bare minimum? So that's it there. Now, on the other side, we do have something called diminishing returns, where essentially there is some quality writing right there. There we go, diminishing returns. The diminishing returns, though, it happens way over here when we're doing 5,000 a day. And the reason that we start to experience diminishing returns is simply because we've saturated the market. 99.9% of businesses will never hit diminishing returns with outreach. You'd have to have a $100 million business and literally be sending 5,000 a day. which is going to require a whole other team and a whole other area of logistics and operations to do. So we don't even need to concern ourselves with that, but we do need to concern ourselves with part 2, which is now that we have a list, what we're going to do with it. And this is where we start to put together the audit. And if you remember right at the beginning, I was talking about one of the options is, of course, we can cold call, and there's great scripts we can use. We have them inside the program and they work like absolute dynamite, but still, for some people, they're not the best strategy. Either there's a significant reluctance or fear around cold calling, which is totally fair, or their niche or their industry or the business that they're going into is not as receptive or doesn't answer the phone quite as much. So a good example here would be anybody that has a front desk gatekeeper, things like dentists, doctors, surgeons, chiropractors, anyone where they're getting screened. Cold calls often don't work as well because we just keep hitting the gatekeeper. On the other hand, contractors, roofers, plumbers, anybody that has their phone with them all the time, cold calling is fantastic because we can pretty much always reach them. So anyways, for all of the other industries, and the audits still work, this is where we're going to provide them with just a ridiculous amount of value based on some of the tools we have by going through where they're at. So let me show you what this looks like by going back into the high-level prospecting tool and seeing our report. All right, so here we are back inside of the high-level prospecting tool. And what it's done is it's not only given us a list of leads that we can choose from, but it's also created an automated marketing report that we can now create a video of. We can actually export it as well as a PDF. We can email them the link. But the real value is walking them through what they're doing well and where there's room and areas of opportunity. So for example, this happened automatically. Thank you to the software. Thank you to all the automations and the scraping and all the things going on behind the scenes. All I had to do was literally type in pool companies, San Diego, hit enter, got them there, clicked a button, and now this report happens automatically. Now you can see if I'm looking at this from a marketing agency perspective and I'm trying to pitch a potential client, I've got a lot of really good data that I can now provide them with that they probably were not aware of before. So for example, the first thing that I like to do is highlight all of the good things that they're doing. So I'll say, hey, look, looks like you've done this right. And you've got this text-enabled business number, which is absolutely amazing because it means that we can use missed call text back, which is one of our highest converting tools. So fantastic. If you're not using missed call text back, highly recommend you look into that as well. Also, looks like you're getting 95% of the last 50 reviews you've responded to. We don't see this very often, so this is absolutely incredible. It's going to help with your local rankings. It's going to help with your online reputation management. Really good job. Now, that said, there are a couple areas of opportunity I found that you probably want to take a look into. The first of which being a chat widget on your website. Essentially, what this means is that we're going to be able to capture the 98% of people that visit your website and then just bounce without getting in any more information, without you being able to collect their data. So this is going to convert you a whole lot more traffic. And depending on the amount of traffic, we're typically seeing an increase of 3 to 5% in conversations and engaged leads. Next, we can move down to their listings, taking a look at what their citations are, which have a direct impact on their local ranking. We can see their reviews. This company is doing amazing, by the way. You don't normally see this, but this is cool. So I'd be highlighting this for them for sure. I mean, like, you're doing great. This is really good. We can see some of their positive reviews, go on. But now down here, we can see also all of their online listings. And this is one of the biggest factors when it comes to ranking in the Google Map Pack, that 3 location spots at the top. We need reviews, we need citations, and we need the citations to match exactly. In fact, right here, business name, address, phone number, we call that NAP, name, address, phone number, and they have to be literally identical right down to the formatting and the way that the name is structured. So we've got a bunch here, but we're missing some here, we're missing some there, we're missing some there. So I'd highly recommend you go out and get those. Alternatively, we have a way that we can build those up for you very quickly, et cetera, et cetera. And just like that, we've gone from cold outreach, pitching someone on our service to value provider that's showing them what they're doing well from an expert marketing agency perspective, as well as showing them where there's opportunity for them to improve their conversion rate, get more leads, get more customers, get more sales, get more things that their business actually cares about. Another tool you can use to really sort of beef up your marketing audit that you're providing is this one here called SpyFu. There's a ton of them available as well. Most of them offer very similar services. SEMrush is another good one. Ahrefs, Majestic, Moz. The list is basically endless. I like SpyFu because it gives you just a tremendous amount of information for free. And then obviously, if you're going to be doing this long term and you're going to be baking these into your audits, recommend getting the paid program. But I mean, like, even the free one's really good. So for example, we could put in their website that we got through the high-level audit tool. We can see what they're doing for organic keywords. We can see what their traffic is. We can see if they're running ads at all, because there's opportunities there for Google ads. We can see how their keywords are ranking. We can see their competition. Really, really good tip here. If you ever want to put a little bit of salt in the wound for a business owner without being arrogant or being a jerk, you can always bring up their competition and what they're doing. Just be careful. Don't be like, look, your competition is clearly destroying you here. That is not a good approach. But you can say, also, had a chance to look into some of your competition, and I noticed that they're ranking for these words, or they're showing here, or they're showing there. So that's just something that I'd want you to know about and be able to take a look at. So obviously you can reclaim your position at the top of the search engines or in the top of the ads rankings or wherever it is. We can see different keywords. We can see cores. We can see all of the things that go into it. If they were running more ads, then we would be able to see some of their top Google ads by recommendations, which I think are fantastic because it's going to show you the keywords that have high enough search with low enough competition. So you're able to essentially buy these like low-hanging fruit keywords and get them a great result. But again, just a phenomenal amount of information that we can use here when going through the audit. The secret really is to make sure that you're putting in information that is relevant to them and to them and to you, to them, to you. And by that, I mean, if you don't do SEO, I probably wouldn't talk a whole lot about SEO. If you don't do Facebook ads, I probably wouldn't talk a whole lot about Facebook ads. You want to make sure that the pains that you're identifying on their website, with their online marketing, on their social media, the pains you identify are pains that you're actually able to solve. Because there's no point opening up a can of worms and telling them how bad things are and then just leaving them and be like, good luck. I don't know. It's not going to go well. Rather, what you want to do is you want to find out their pain. Ideally, you would know where they want to get to, their ideal outcome, end state. Then this is where your agency comes into play. And your agency bridges the gap away and helps them move away from all of the pain they're in right now. It moves them towards all of the great places that they want to end up in the end. So that's the audit. We conduct that. The next question then is, how do we script this out? And again, much like when we're trying to decide what to include in the audit and what we can leave out, the script is going to be largely dependent on the services that you provide, the niche that you're in, making sure that you're using the right terms and words and statements and lingo and jargon and all of that that matches up with your ideal target market. But there are a few important tips that I do want you to know. First of all, in your script, you want to tell them about the things what they care about. That's most important. You do not want to make a Loom audit that's showing them all these things that they just don't care about. Now, for most businesses, most niches, this is going to be leads, customers, sales, revenue. For gyms, they could call it increasing membership or retention. For healthcare practitioners, dentists, chiropractors, surgeons, etc., it's going to be increasing patients. If it's a certain kind of dentistry, implant dentistry, it's going to be increasing level of implants or full arch implants or whatever it is. If it's a teeth whitening offer, you're like, increase the number of teeth whitening cases that you get. Whatever it is, you want to speak their language, which really only comes by doing your due diligence into your niche and making sure that you understand what they actually care about. There's no point making a Loom audit on things they don't care about, because what you're doing is you're offering a solution to a problem that they don't have, and it will get ignored. Promise you on that one. Next, you want to show them the what and the why, not the how. So what and why, not how. What this means is you want to show them what something is. For example, hey, I noticed you had all these reviews, but we're missing a web chat widget. That's the what. This is why you want that. It increases leads, it increases conversions, it increases conversations. We can boost it by 3 to 5%, et cetera, but not the how. To get this, all you have to do is get this software, download this code, install it on your website, follow it up here. None of that. First of all, it's overwhelming. Second of all, that's what you are there to do as the agency. I have no problem if you create this kind of content separately. You can put it on social media, you can create blog posts, you can create helpful articles, you can teach them how later, but in the purpose of the Loom audit, that's not it. Like, our goal here is to pique their curiosity, to establish you as an expert, to establish you as the provider of the solution to their pains and problems. So really, really focus on what and why. Main objective of a Loom audit. Why are you doing this? One simple reason: book appointment. That's it. This calls for a different color. Let's make it red. That's it. That's why we do this. The reason you're making these Loom audits is to book an appointment. Keep that in the back of your mind as you're going through the script, as you're working and talking with them, showing them all of the things that they're doing right, the things they could be doing. You want to provide enough material to establish yourself as the expert and authority without overwhelming them. And again, the call to action here is, look, if you'd like this, I'm happy to go over with it. If you'd like to learn more about this, give me a call. If you'd like to see how we can help you with this, book a time on my calendar. If you're interested about how we might be able to just do all of this for you, I've left some times below. Whatever it is, this is the goal. Book an appointment. Get them to book an appointment. They don't necessarily have to click on your calendar link. A reply to you is just fine. Saying, yeah, send me over your times. Yeah, I'd love to learn more, et cetera, et cetera. We're not trying to make the sale right there and sign them up. We need to have a conversation first. The conversation is one of the most important parts of signing high-ticket agency clients. There needs to be a conversation. It can be done over email and Messenger. 90% of the time, you're going to have better results and make way more money by having an actual phone or Zoom conversation with them where you can actually go back and forth a little bit. What do you need? What are the pains? What does this mean? What's the value of a client? How can we help you? So on and so forth. All right. Next, let me walk you through a bit of a script right from the beginning to at least give you an outline for when you're mapping this all out. So the very first part of the script is the intro. Keep this short and sweet. Man, I'm begging you, please keep this short and sweet. Hey, it's Adam from Agency Accelerator. Just notice was etc. That's it. Hey, it's hey John, Adam here from Agency Accelerator. Look, I was looking through your site, etc., etc. Hey, Adam here. All right, I was going through some things and found this the other day. Whatever it is, say your name, say it quickly. If you have their name, which is ideal because we're going to be doing more targeted audits here, obviously say that. Everyone's name is their most, it's going to get their attention the fastest and show that you've actually done some due diligence here. But man, keep it short, like one line. This is not about you. It's about them. They don't care about you because they don't know you yet. So it's like some random person starts coming up to you in the street and asking you to sign their pamphlet or survey or whatever it is. You're going to run. Okay. Reason for looming. Reason for looming. Reason for the audit. Why are you doing this? Hey, John, Adam here from Agency Accelerator. I was looking over your site. I saw these things. I was doing some research. I was looking for pool builders in San Diego and I came across your site. I was doing some research for a client and came across your site, started looking into it. Hey, great stuff, by the way, et cetera, et cetera. Why are you doing this? You don't need the most perfect reason ever. You could even just say, hey, I was doing some audits the other day for curiosity. I was looking into marketing. I was working on a new site, working on a new idea, building out a new campaign for my clients in the pool building space, whatever it is. But give them a reason because then it's just not like a straight pitch and it'll sort of lower their guard and make them more receptive to it. We as humans are far more likely to let someone do something or let them cut in front of us in line or do them some kind of favor when they give us a reason. Doesn't have to be a good reason, but it's like, hey, can I do this because I'm doing this because I found this because very, very powerful word. Okay. Acknowledge good things. We did this already when we looked at our company there that had like tons of really good Google reviews. I want to make sure that I mention this. Hey, I saw that you had some great reviews. I saw you responding to 95% of them, which by the way, we never see this. I do a lot of these audits and this is absolutely incredible. So 2 thumbs up, amazing work. Like keep doing that. This is clearly a very solid strategy that's going to have great results, not just now, but also downturn, et cetera, et cetera. Next, areas to improve. This is where we start to bring up all of the other things that we can mention, like, okay, that said, I did find a couple things that I think would be really beneficial for you. I think would really help you to increase leads or customers or sales. For example, I noticed you didn't have a web chat widget on your website. A lot of customers, when they come to visit a website, they're not likely to take action right away and just pick up the phone and give you a call. They like to have just a little bit of information first, have a bit of a conversation. Maybe they're curious about one or two things, but they're scared about getting on the phone or overcommitting. This allows us to get rid of all of that fear with a very low barrier to entry request on the part of the customer. And then again, we'll experience a 3 to 5% increase in leads and conversions and engagement, which can trickle down to an XYZ increase in revenue down the line. So we show all those. Then we acknowledge good things again. This is sometimes called a crap sandwich, which is a very rude term, but essentially this is the basics of feedback 101. Like anyone that's ever gone through any kind of leadership training or management training or has ever led a team or coached anyone at all, like we basically always go through this. And it's like, hey, here's what you're doing really well and you're really fantastic and I love everything about you and just keep on going. Now, that said, I think we could improve some things here and this might be good and we could maybe shift this around. But at the end of the day, hey, you're doing great. Like this is good. Keep doing all that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And what it allows us to do is essentially lowers their guard, allows us to provide constructive criticism, and then kind of builds them back up to go through it again. You'll get better at this, I promise. It's just a little bit of practice. You can do a few of these audits, practice through the scripts a few times first before actually sending them in order to really dial it in. But it will get easier. And then finally, CTA. What is our call to action? What we want to do here, unsurprising, book appointment. One of my preferred, let's spell it right, use the right words. Essentially what we do here is we're offering them the solution. Look, I've got a few more things that I'd love to share. I'd love to walk you through them and offer you some solutions, some really quick fixes on just a really short call. It'll just make it a whole lot easier than going back and forth on email. That's basically it. Play around with your call to action. Sometimes I'll make them longer. Sometimes I'll make them shorter. They'll adjust depending on the niche that I'm in, the market that I'm serving. There is no one size fits all here, but this is the goal. Book appointment. Make sure that the final term is in their best interest and that you're not overly pushy about it. Just saying, look, I've got a few more things I'd love to share. Look, I've got a couple ideas for some really quick fixes I'd love to be able to share with you. Happy to walk you through them over a really quick call. Let me know a good time. Here's a good time. Here's a calendar, etc., etc. That, my friend, alone will make you millions and get you more clients than you ever wanted. But how do we take it from 6 figures to 7 figures? How do we take it from 7 figures to 8 figures? Well, to do that, we need to start automating some of the process, because if we're doing 50 calls a day, 50, we'll say Loom audits actually, Looms per day, and they're taking around, you're going to get better at them and get faster at them, but we'll say that they're taking around 5 minutes each. Well, we're looking at 250 minutes per day, which is not a ridiculous amount of time to make hundreds of thousands of dollars, potentially millions of dollars, but still, eventually there's going to come a time where you're not going to be able to keep doing that. So what do we do there? Well, this is where we start automating and outsourcing some of the process. Now, the easiest way is obviously things like software. So for this one example, we've got high-level prospecting. We've got ways of building up lead lists. Software like D7 Lead Finder, Apollo, Instantly, et cetera, et cetera. We've got basically anything else that's going to allow us to sort of automate. Again, we use high level for a lot of this, but it's going to be automating the flow of like sending out the audit, following up. So I'll just put follow up here. But there are other options we can use, and that would be people. So this comes down to hiring and outsourcing, freelancers, et cetera, et cetera. And what are they able to do for you? And what are you going to have to do yourself? Now, it's my recommendation in the early stages, you do basically all of this yourself. And the reason is because not only do you want to learn everything about your niche and their pains and their problems and their fears and their frustrations and try to get this all sorted, but also you want to develop the skill to be able to rapidly go in, whip out these Loom audits as quickly as possible so that you can get really good at knowing this was important, this wasn't important. I mentioned this, the client told me back, that was the best thing I've ever heard. I mentioned this, nobody ever talks about it. Maybe I could start removing that from the Loom. Your rate of learning is going to be exponentially higher if you sort of like take the reins and just drive this puppy all the way home. The second thing is you need to do them yourself because you need to find out how you're going to streamline it and automate the process later when you actually get someone to help you. And what you're probably going to find is that there's going to be two parts of it. There's going to be the setup and there's going to be the delivery. The setup is the lead list, building that. It's going to be the doing the prospecting or building up your prospecting list, doing the audits on it. Not necessarily the delivery of the audit. We'll talk about that in a second, but like compiling the audit, putting it together. So essentially going and doing what I did there by going into high level, typing in pool company, San Diego, whoever it is, getting all of those reports generated. Same thing goes. So we'll say high level and we'll say SpyFu because we used that one. So basically putting all of this information together, someone else can do that for you. And this is VA, virtual assistant, $5 or $10 an hour work. This is not ridiculously expensive work. This is not stuff that you should probably be doing later. In the early days, by all means, go and do this. You're going to learn a lot. Then delivery is you. This is record the Loom. Record the Loom audit. And the reason is because you want to associate your name, your face, your voice with your agency. People don't like doing business with businesses. They like doing business with people. And by leveraging your unique personality, your brand, your style, by showing up, by being the actual face of your agency, you're going to find it significantly easier to sign clients and to get them to trust you. They're way more likely to trust you as a person than they are to trust some generic, faceless, big, broad, bland marketing agency that's promising them all of these things and very unlikely to deliver because most clients have been burned before by kind of subpar agencies. So that is the way that we automate and essentially crank these things out so that we can get to 50 to 100 a day. And for bonus, let's just run through some really simple metrics here on what I call agency algebra and how much you can make when all of this goes well. Now, very, very important point. I'm not a lawyer, nor do I play one on TV, but obviously the numbers that I'm about to run through are for all legal purposes, entertainment purposes only. Nothing is promised or guaranteed, etc., etc. All client results are the result of people working exceptionally hard, yada, yada, yada. That said, this is typically what we see. We want to look for different stages of our funnel, and we want to assign metrics to them. So if we're doing outreach, we're going to say 100 pieces of outreach, I'm looking for like a 15% conversion rate for positive responses. So 15% conversion rate to positive response. This is important because most of them are going to get ignored, even with follow-up. But if we follow up enough times, probably at least 4, did you get this? Did we call? We can follow up through DMs, anything you need to do to follow up. But that's going to give us 15 appointments. Now, the typical conversion rate for a sales call is like 20 to 30% if you're kind of new and not very good at them yet. Okay. So if you're like just getting started and you're not really great at sales and you don't really know what to do and you're not very comfortable having these conversations, that's typically the rate that you're going to look at. So we're going to say 25% close rate on booked appointments. Now, 25% of 15, that's going to be a fraction. 15 times 0.25 is like 3.75 maybe? Yeah, 3.75. So this is going to get us 3.75 sales, which is statistically improbable. But regardless, let's take this number and let's just cut it in half. Let's say that it was, for easy math, we're going to say 4. So now we do 100 outreach. We book 15 appointments. Everything goes bad. We book 2 sales. But let's make it worse. Let's say that none of this is working well. Our outreach isn't great. Our appointments aren't booking, etc. Let's cut that in half again. We'll say we only get 1 client. 100 outreach, 1 client. Well, my friend, let's work this out. If we can do 100 outreach in a day, this means you can sign 1 new client a day. So this means that, I don't know, let's say you're charging $2K. Nice, very healthy, easy number. Normally I advise packages of like $4K, $2,500, $1,500. We'll typically have like an ace up our sleeve with some kind of lower level SaaS offer for like $500. But regardless, let's keep it easy. $2K per client. So that means 100 outreach equals 2K client per month. Now it's really just a question of how much you want to do of this. Do you want to do 100 outreach a day? Do you want to do 100 outreach every second day? Do you want to do it in a week? Because we can just work this thing out to make as much or as little money as you want. Let's carry on with this one. If I did 100 outreach a day, got a 2K client per day over 5 days, well, that's a 10K a month agency in a week. So you now have the exact outreach method that has made me millions and millions of dollars over the past few years alone. The only thing you have to do now is take action. And I know this method will work for you because I've seen many of my clients do this exact same thing and sign their very first client in just the first 7 days. So if you're interested in learning more about how we help current or aspiring agency owners build and grow 6- and 7-figure agencies, make sure to check out the link down in the descriptions below this video. In the meantime, I've got another video linked up right here that's going to show you step-by-step exactly how to build a very profitable 6- or 7-figure agency of your very own. So make sure to tap or click that now, and I'll see you in there in just a second.